Oh wait, I'm sorry. Karnstein shows up and gets her out of jail and does the old switcheroo and puts Frida in the jail in Maria's clothes, and rather puts Maria in the jail and takes Frida with him back to Castle Karnstein. Sorry. And so then, of course, we see once again the guys, cheering, of course, burn the witch, burn her. And I, made a note of very small rocks. Because once again, it is a fucking Python scene. And so the Brotherhood drags Maria into the town square. And Maria attempts to Frida attempts to seduce Anton, but he sees that she has no reflection. And she attacks him. He throws a cross at her, lands on her boob, and then lands on her hand and burns her hand. And Anton is off to the rescue to stop Maria from being burned at the stake in Frida's place. And can I ask you something? Can we have a little torch handling safety on the set? Because fucking Peter Cushing nearly takes a torch and puts it right in the guy's face. And so basically Anton tells them that fire's not going to be any good at killing the vampires. You got to stake them through the heart or cut their head off. And these guys are like, he's like, good lances and axes. And these guys are like, all right, lances and axes. We see the blacksmith's business is booming.
Honestly, this leads up to one of my favorite scenes, which was Karnstein and Frida, Karnstein especially, he was just, well, they're not, all the worst they're going to do to us is burn us. Oh, you know what? They've been seen with spears, and they've been sharpening up their hatchets. So I think they figured out that you can be staked or beheaded. Oh shit! Oh well, we lose that advantage now. Okay.
Yeah, and in the beginning attack, there is an injury to the eye and a hatchet to the head.
Oh my god! I did not expect to see that much blood at that one moment.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. I like that shot. And I love that Karnstein just fucking throws Frida out.
I know.
Just chucks her out to be fucking taken captive by the no, we're not taken captive. She steps out and fucking Cushing does not hesitate in chopping her goddamn head off.
Does he throw her out, or was it more of a like oh, you know what, you go first?
Yeah, it's kind of a what you go first, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like yes, test out these minds, won't you? One thing that only just occurred to me as you're recapping it, Patrick, is that I suppose because when the Brotherhood, and by the way, I thought of another name for them too. They could be the Prude Boys. When they come barging into his castle, I suppose it doesn't work both ways. That like a vampire can't come into your house unless you invite him, but I guess you can just barge into a vampire's house.
Yes, certainly. Definitely you can.
So you got some kind of edge.
So now I got to ask, they just let Maria run off on her own. And nobody's like, hey, maybe we should keep an eye on Maria because, she's been involved in this crazy shit. And they just let her take off to find her sister. Yeah. So, and Count Karnstein at one point grabs a torch and goes running off with Maria, and it's like, what kind of vampire can't see in the dark? I gotta ask. So the Brotherhood is taking over the castle at this point. The Count is going to throw Maria from the balcony. Cushing sneaks up behind him, gets the drop on the Count, but misses, and the Count kills him. But while the Count is distracted, Anton throws a spear and nails the Count in the chest. And of course, I thought of the old Saturday Night Live bit, Bruce Jenner wins the javelin catch. And then Count Karnstein decomposes, and of course his hair goes first.
Yeah.
And then the movie rather abruptly ends. So I think this movie's a blast. It's a ton of fun. I would definitely recommend it for anybody who wants to watch something just goofy and fun. With great photography, great set pieces, great costuming, and
better pace than I remembered it being.
What was that, Stu?
It was better paced than I remembered it being.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty well paced flick. And Cushing is fucking so delightfully loathsome in it.
You know what I loved about Cushing and Christopher Lee doing these Hammer films is that at no point do they ever look like they feel like they're beneath this.
Yeah, well, Lee had said something about, he said, I've done a lot of terrible films. The whole point is to not be terrible in them.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good line.
And that, and also when Peter Jackson asked him, told him, this is what it's going to sound like when you stab a guy in the back, and Cushing was like, I don't need you to tell me what that sounds like. He was a bad man. So, once again, this was Twins of Evil. It's available right now on Shudder and for free, but it's also available on Amazon Prime for $3.99 if you want to rent it. Once again, I highly recommend it. And we are going to come back with a segment we call What's on Your Shelf, with suggestions from me and my guests. And we'll catch you guys right after the jump. So we're back from our little break here at the Literate Nerds, and this is a segment we call What's on Your Shelf, where we suggest some bit of content from any type of media that our guests or myself are currently enjoying. So we're going to start off with Adam's suggestion today, and what do you got for us, Adam?
Yes, well, most recently I was thrilling to the fact that I had gotten through an entire book with no pictures. Graphic novelist, aficionado and practitioner though I am, this is a prose novel by Nikhil Singh called Club Dead, which is what we once upon a time called cyberpunk, though is more like contemporary adjacent fiction these days, as technological advances and social upheavals kind of keep one step ahead of even the science fiction writer. And it's a fascinating gauge of the future that we keep on barreling headlong into. This one concerns a big budget superhero reboot that's being filmed in South Africa, where the writer was born and resides, and the weird lengths that the James Cameron-esque director will go to get realism for his surreal footage, up to and including almost a kind of mutation of his cast. So it's just this great kind of modern day, hard-boiled, punchy sentence structure, albeit philosophically, deep diving examination of how human nature doesn't change, but the disorienting challenges that we find ourselves in, which make it harder to stay human. How that change keeps churning. So that's Nikhil Singh. Look for him in better bibliophilic websites, maybe even physical stores if you can find any. Luna Press, I believe. Club Dead, as I said, except no substitutes or alternate spellings. It's DED, though there was once a comic that I think was called Club Dead.
Yeah, and there's also a Sookie Stackhouse novel by Charlene Harris that's called Club Dead, but DEAD.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had a little cognitive dissonance there. I thought you were saying there was a sushi steakhouse called Club Dead, which I would probably stay away from at all costs. But
yeah, well, I mean, you're a vegan, but I wouldn't even want to go to a place like that, and I really like sushi.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, the whole thing about sushi is that it wasn't dead too long ago, so if it's called Club Dead, even though there's a lot of ocean imagery, I can say, in this book, so it brings us full circle.
Fantastic. Okay, so Stu, what are you currently enjoying right now?
All right. Listen, I got just a couple of really quick short things. First off, Gangs of London, which created by Gareth Evans from the Raid Redemption and Raid 2 films.
I didn't realize he's the guy that created created Gangs of London.
Yes. So it's 9 episodes of mayhem.
And isn't he also the Godzilla? He did the latest Godzilla film, didn't he?
No, that was the other Gareth guy.
Oh, okay.
There's a Gareth Edwards and a Gareth Evans.
That's what it is. Gareth Edwards did the Godzilla film.
Yeah. The other quick thing is after Twins of Evil made me want to watch one of what I think is the better Hammer films of that period, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, with Ralph Bates and Martina Beswick.
I like that film a lot.
It's probably one of the best of that era from Hammer. And finally, it's coming to an end this week. The final season of Supernatural, a show that I have loved for a very long time. If you've never got onto it, you have 15 seasons of goodness. One thing that I've always said is that I can never understand how a show with this rich and wide a universe has never become a role-playing game.
Yeah, I don't. There hasn't been a Supernatural role-playing supplement, has there?
No, and there really should be, because there's so much mythology behind the whole 15 seasons worth of episodes.
Yeah, and it's cool mythology. It's well thought out. That show's got some genuinely good scares. I mean, I haven't watched it religiously, but I have started going back recently and watching more of it.
Not just good scares, but it's a lot of fun, and it's very humorous too.
And at one point, they did have 2 characters on it named Lyle and Tector Gorch, did they not? Or was that Buffy?
No, it's probably more of a Supernatural thing than Buffy. I don't recall that, but if they actually did have characters named Lyle and Tector Gorge, that's just all the more reason for me to love the show.
I would watch it. I would watch it if they had characters named Lyle and Larry Storch.
No, it was Buffy.
It was Buffy?
Yeah, there were vampire brothers that were named Lyle and Tector Gorch on Buffy. Okay. Which, for folks of you out there don't know, Lyle and Tector Gorch are 2 characters from the revisionist Western masterpiece, Sam Peckinpah's Wild Bunch.
Yes, which would actually be my next suggestion. So go out and seek out the Wild Bunch too.
Yeah, go watch the Wild Bunch. Absolutely. You can get it streaming on Amazon. For rent. Actually, it might. No, actually, you know what? It might be available free on Prime right now because it was at one point.
I want to know if these are twin vampire brothers, though.
I don't think that they were, and the Gorch brothers may have been twins, but not identical. I don't think the Gorch brothers and the Wild Bunch are identical twins. I think
they were fraternal twins of evil.
Fraternal twins of evil. I believe that Lyle is the older of the 2 in the film, right? Warren Oates is Tector, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Lyle, who was played by Ben Foster.
Yes.
Ben Foster. Yeah. Two of the greatest Western